What is up, Sexy Beast? Crazy Rabbit here, and today we're doing the Nazi Zombie storyline part 3, Numa and KINO. So let's get the shit started. You have to remember that Numa was actually the first map to introduce the Nazi Zombie storyline, so there's going to be a lot of holes in the storyline from here on out because it pretty much had to go off of what Verrückt had set up for it, and Verrückt didn't really know about the Nazi Zombie storyline, had no idea what they were going to create, so it was pretty much just a bunch of Easter eggs and randomness, and then they had to build it up to Numa, and then Numa from there. So there's going to be a lot of holes in the storyline. They probably want to switch directions every now and then, so just make sure you keep that in the back of your mind, and let's get started. Okay, so there are two different time frames in what Numa has, and that's first before Samantha gets in control of zombies, and after. That's pretty much when Richtofen and his gang arrive. So we'll get into that in a little bit. Numa was pretty much a place where Germany, pretty much Nazis and Japanese worked together to pretty much study the effects of 115, because a huge meteor had either probably fallen there or they relocated there. But my best guess is that they weren't really studying 115 as much as the effects of it, because if they were actually studying 115, I'm pretty sure the meteor would have been the center of Numa, not just on the outside, so they probably were just getting samples of it and studying the effects on people when using it in guns and stuff. So my best guess is this is where Richtofen created the Wunderwaffe DG2. He either created it here or at Reese, but I would say he probably created it at Numa, so that would give him a bunch of time frame relevance to actually being at Numa, other than just randomly coming and then leaving. So he probably created the Wunderwaffe DG2 at Numa and did a bunch of tests there, and then eventually took it to Reese to show Maxis to try to get it mass produced. So let's listen to this radio real quick. The first set of numbers it actually mentions is Area 51, the second pair is actually a Tunguska event, and I'll go into more of that after you guys listen to the radio, so here it is.
R-480 Ben 37 14 06 115 48 40.
I hope you're receiving this transmission, Peter. If you are not, then all is already lost. You must know by now that we failed to contain the asylum, and that we had to move the experiment here. Location. The numbers will guide you. Giant bus drivers. All costs. Repeat. Dead Reese will safe at all costs. The DG2 experiments continue. Maybe our only advantage now. Find Dr. Maxis. They may know what's going on. The use of 115 is dangerous at best. I'm not sure we can continue here. We've lost most of our best speech. I hope you get this. I hope it hasn't happened there too. But I'm almost out of hope.
60 54 06.96 101 55 44.94.
Alright, so the first set of numbers I believe is actually coordinates to Area 51, and the second set of numbers is coordinates to Tunguska. And my best guess is that they say this probably because these were large supplies of element 115, and if they ever ran out, they probably know where to go. So if you don't know who sent this message, nobody really does. It's still really a mystery, but my best guess would be it was Harvey Yenna. If you don't know who he is, he's actually an American who was pretty much in Group 935. If you remember, Group 935 was an organization that got scientists from all over the world together and worked on stuff to better the human condition. And then during World War II, they eventually made a pact with the Nazis and stuff like that. So the USS had sent in a spy to infiltrate Group 935, Peter McCain. Harvey Yenna had no idea that Peter McCain was a spy, but Richtofen had thought that both Peter McCain and Harvey Yenna were spies, even though Harvey Yenna was not. So Harvey Yenna actually worked at Verrückt, and maybe Peter McCain worked there at some point in time, then eventually went to Numa, but Peter was never there when Verrückt got overrun. I'll go into that in a little bit. So when Verrückt got overrun, Dr. Harvey Yenna probably sent this message to Peter at Numa, knowing that he would probably be at Numa and could contact Richtofen and stuff like that. And he was pretty much telling them that Verrückt has been overrun. We need to make sure that De Reese does not get overrun, make sure that's still in contact. Find Dr. Richtofen and Maxis, they probably know what's going on. They probably have the DG2 somewhere. And he's pretty much just trying to warn him that they're probably going to get overrun, so they have to make sure that they are careful with what they're doing with all these zombies and stuff like that. Now, he sent this message to Peter, who's at Numa. And a lot of people think that Peter was at Verrückt when he got overrun, and that Peter is the hanging man. Peter is not the hanging man. People think that he's the hanging man mostly because that there is a hand on the power switch, and the hanging man has no hand. Well, that's probably just a cool little Easter egg that Treyarch put in there, to reference those two so we know what's actually going on. They probably just put, they probably just put that in there for a little cool Easter egg. Why would Peter McCain be at Verrückt and it getting overrun, and then Harvey Yenna sending Peter a message pretty much telling him that Verrückt's been overrun? So Peter was never at Verrückt when he got overrun, so Peter cannot be the hanging man, because why else would Peter be missing an arm unless he just chopped it off randomly, and Treyarch was pretty much trying to fuck with us. So Peter McCain was never at Verrückt when he got overrun. because Harviana would not have to send him a message telling him that Vrook's been overrun. So Peter McCann probably died somewhere at Numa, or maybe he's still alive, or maybe went to Darius and died. No one's really sure what happened to him. His fate has yet to be decided. Alright, so now let's move on to Richtofen and the gang finally arriving at Numa. Before that, Numa was overrun before Richtofen got there, probably because there's a huge chunk of 115 there. Rose up all the zombies from the ground, the zombies killed everyone at Numa, and then they pretty much just sat there waiting. And the song of the one in Numa is actually in the eyes of a zombie sitting there waiting for someone to come and kill it so that way it can finally be free. So I think that's pretty cool that the zombies were sitting there just waiting for Richtofen to come and kill them. And when Richtofen finally arrived at Numa, Samantha had sent endless and endless hordes at him, and he pretty much figured out, alright, I need to go up there and figure out a way to get her out of this, and I want to be in there. But he didn't have this whole plan of how he's going to go to Call of the Dead, Shangri-La, and all these places. He didn't have this plan figured out yet. I'll get into that in a second. But why would Richtofen actually go to Numa? My best guess is he wanted his Wonderwolf DG2. Do I really know why he wanted the Wonderwolf DG2? He probably thought he would need it eventually because it was a pretty powerful gun, and it probably had a lot of unknown stuff that he didn't really know about. So he probably figured he'd need it eventually, so that's why he probably went to Numa to grab it. And then he eventually headed to Darius, because he was probably going to teleport from Darius to Moon to try to get Samantha out of there. But someone shot the Wonderwolf as they were teleporting and sent them through time. So I'll let you guys listen into two radios real quick, and I'll explain them here in a second. Alright, so the first radio pretty much just describes how they got from Darius to KINO. Someone shot the Wonderwolf as they were teleporting, and sent it through time, and they ended up at KINO. But before I actually show you guys this next radio, which is very interesting, and it's only heard when you play KINO solo, let's get a little information on KINO. KINO stands for Theater of the Dead, and this place is pretty much where Group 935 would show the Nazis all their new inventions and advances in technology, and the Nazis would pretty much be like, ooh, ah. Now, do I know exactly when this took place? Not really 100% sure, but Richtofen has never been here, but Maxis has. And I'll let you guys listen to this radio, and I'll show you guys some more evidence as to why.
Entry 7410, Tovan! Perhaps this station will hold the key to the real goals of Group 935. I still do not trust my unconventional allies, but they are of great use to me. But I digress. Who would have thought the MDT was capable of time travel? How many stations does this group have? Where did that little girl disappear to? Only time will tell what new questions await us in this theater of the damned.
Alright, so in this radio you can hear Richtofen, and he's pretty much saying, I didn't know the teleporter was capable of time travel, and he had never been to KINO as I stated before, but Maxis has, and he was pretty much questioning Group 935's true goals. What were they trying to really achieve here? Because why else would they have a theater like this? And he also questions that, are there more places out there like this that Group 935 has that I didn't know about? And then he goes on to question his group, but that's really kind of irrelevant to the storyline. So let's get a little history about KINO. It stands for Theater of the Dead, and I believe it's actually called the Black Sun Theater, I believe. And this is where, as I stated before, where Group 935 would show off all their new advances in technology to the Nazis, and the Nazis pretty much would eat it up. So all these events, like the Group 95 showing the Nazis all this, would have to have happened before Maxis was killed, because Maxis was actually probably the lead member of Group 95 at KINO at one point in time, because when you teleport, you can actually see his little nameplate on a desk, and you actually see something else that I want to get to here in a minute that is very huge in the Nazi zombie storyline, but I'll get to that in here in a minute. So, KINO Maxis probably stole a bunch of Richtofen's design, like the teleporter, and probably showed off the Nazis and like, hey, look what we made. And the Nazis were probably like, hey, we really want that. Start working on how to perfect that. So they ended up, that's why Maxis probably went to Darius to probably work on teleporters more, because he showed the Nazis what kind of teleporters they had right now. The Nazis were probably like, hey, we want to perfect that, go start making more. So that's probably why he went to Darius and started making more teleporters. And the thing I said before that's really important, when you teleport, and on that desk that has the Loadwin Maxis little logo thingy right there, you can actually see on the wall, it says Global Communications Industry, and there's actually sort of some writing that's barely, you can barely read it out, but if you can, it actually says, be wary of the doctor, we're not sure how he achieved something, something. It's amazing you're still alive, something, and it says stuff like that, and this was written to Dr. Maxis, so someone had told Maxis that Richtofen was going to kill him, and this is how Maxis knew that Richthofen was going to come after him. This is probably why Maxis had Richthofen work so close to him so he could keep an eye on him, but he eventually let his guard down and got killed. And this is also why Maxis has all these rockets sitting up on Moon. He knew Richthofen had some sort of plan up, and that he knew what Richthofen was trying to do, so that's why he put the rockets on the Moon. How he did that, I'm not really 100% sure, but he had the rockets on the Moon waiting to strike, just in case Richthofen did achieve his goal. So this is why, in Moon, you actually blew up the Earth, because Maxis knew the entire time Richthofen was coming after him, but he didn't really know how, when, or why. Alright, so now let's move on to the radios, and the radios aren't really that important to the storyline. They're somewhat important, but not really. They just pretty much just say that they were working with zombies, and they almost got to the point where they could control them, but eventually they got set back because they had to kill a zombie. And a lot of people think that the person in the radios is Maxis. It's not Maxis. It sounds nothing like him. Even though Maxis was at KINO, I doubt these radios are from KINO. These radios are probably from Darius, where they worked with zombies, and it's probably somebody else that was working with the zombies, because this radio sounds nothing like Maxis. It's not even German. If it is Maxis, then Cherich fucked up with the voice actor, but again, it does not sound like Maxis, so I'm going to go with it's somebody else. And another little thing I want to get to is beware of the 6. So you see this when you spawn, it says beware of the 6. A lot of people think this means beware of Nova 6. Nova 6 was created by the Russians, and Nova Gas was created by the Germans. If you remember during the campaign, Nazis had created Nova Gas, and then the Russians perfected it and created Nova 6 gas. Why would there be Nova 6 gas at a Nazi facility when it hadn't been created yet? So I doubt it means beware of the Nova 6 crawlers, because they were just Nova crawlers, so beware of the 6. I mean, if it does mean Nova 6, then they kind of fucked it up with the time reference and everything, but I don't think that's what it means, and a lot of people think it means beware of round 6, because that's when the dogs come. Dogs didn't, that doesn't really make much sense, because the dogs only come with Samantha sent him after Richthofen and them, and it doesn't really fit in with the storyline because they're not really based off rounds. It's sort of Samantha just sends endless waves of zombies to try to kill him. If you say beware of 6 means round 6, that makes the zombie storyline feel more like a game, and that Richthofen's just playing a game. That's not really, if you sort of kind of understand what I mean, that's kind of stupid, because the dogs don't even spawn on round 6, they can really spawn on 4, 5, or 6, so that does not really mean beware of dog round. Beware of 6, no one really knows what it means. There are a lot of theories out there, but my best thought is that it's still, no one really knows. So the next thing I want to move on to is Samantha. KINO does a really good job of emphasizing how Samantha has two different sides. She has a good side and a demonic side. And you can actually see this one through the song. During the song, it does a really good job of with the last segment singing a nice little voice, and then she goes to her demonic voice, and that pretty much represents Samantha's both sides. You can also see when you're teleporting back from Pack-a-Punch, she has a nice little sweet little girl room, and she also has the demonic room with blood and teddy bears all over the place, which I think is actually pretty cool. So now let's move on to the fact of why Richthofen actually teleported, and what his main goal at KINO was once he figured out what pretty much KINO was. So when Richthofen teleported to KINO, it was as big of a news as to him as it was to everybody else. He had no idea he was going to KINO. He had no idea even what it was, but when he got there, he sort of looked around, and he probably found a lot of real energy information. Again, Richthofen was never at KINO, but Maxis was. And Maxis was also studying with real energy, and he probably took a lot of his real energy to KINO, knowing that Richthofen would never find it there, and he probably just laid it out somewhere and showed all the Nazis and stuff like that. And then when Richthofen got there, he probably looked around, found all this real energy information, and this is where he devised this entire plan of pretty much getting Samantha out of the pyramid and controlling it for himself, because by now he knows that Samantha controls the zombies and that she's pretty much attacking them, and that she can do all this cool stuff, and Richthofen wants to do this. So this is where he pretty much devises his whole plan. He doesn't do it at KINO, he doesn't do it at Darius, he does it at KINO, and then somehow at KINO they travel to Ascension. No one knows how they did this, because Ascension is located in Russia, and KINO is located, I believe it's located in Berlin, because I think if you look outside you can see the Berlin Wall. So no one really knows how they got from KINO to Ascension, but I'll have a couple theories and I'll get to that next video. So if you guys could, please leave a like and subscribe.